If I say anything, this is probably one of the best ideas probably for 2021 in the investment world. It is going to kill the taxi just like Uber did and allow some people to make some money while it's going on. This is too cool, y'all. Just watch this. What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a great day, and I've got something I want to talk to you about. This is an idea, an entrepreneur idea I've been looking at for a while. I've been completely infatuated with it. A lot of my buddies are really kind of like thinking about the idea of Turo. And coming from the real estate investing world and as a real estate agent, I have been really looking at the returns that are possible on Turo. And I know this because I know a guy that made over $85,000 last year renting a Tesla on the platform. $85,000 in 1 year on a Tesla. He basically paid for the Tesla in like less than 6 months. Isn't that wild? So in this video, I'm going to talk about Turo, which is the peer-to-peer car lending, car rental business. And I'm going to talk about it, my ideas towards it, what I'm thinking about it, and, you know, do I think it's viable for, you know, as an investment or as, you know, a person looking for a return on their money. Because as real estate market is way up and a lot of the gains have already happened in the real estate world, I'm looking to transition some of my money and some of my gains into other endeavors. And I'm not getting completely out of real estate, but I am just kind of making the point that it's time to look at other areas of making money. And Turo is one of those ones that I think is really interesting because the returns are real, everybody. The returns are real. So I'm going to talk about some of the things you need to be aware of. I'm going to talk about some of the return ideas, what kind of cars you might need to look at, and is this viable for somebody that's looking for a new side hustle or maybe to quit their 9-to-5, and is that viable? So let's do this, everybody. I'm really pumped. I got my cup of coffee. It's getting cold, so I got to talk real fast. Let's get to this. Okay, so Turo is basically a peer-to-peer car rental lending experience idea. That the idea is that I can take a car, I can put it on the internet, almost like Airbnb, and I can loan out my car and charge a daily rate and get a return. So instead of, you know, doing Uber or Lyft with the car and you have to physically be there, you can rent it out to somebody else. I like to look at this kind of like the Airbnb of rental cars. Because like right now, the Airbnb world and the real estate world, I said world twice, is really becoming a big deal. As we saw, you know, rents being able to be canceled and tenants trashing a lot of our rental properties during this last pandemic, during COVID, I have said, you know what, I want the ability to have a temporary way of renting my properties, renting my assets, things like that, to where I can get them back if somebody is in the process of destroying my properties. So a lot of the guys I know are shifting gears into Airbnbs to where people are out next Monday instead of next January. And this is it's allowing us to, you know, keep our properties, you know, maintained and ensuring that we get paid and, you know, we don't have to evict anybody. Well, the car rental business is really taking a hit since COVID happened. A lot of people aren't traveling. Businessmen, women aren't traveling, and the rental car business is really taking a hit. A lot of them to the point where there's not even inventory. Like you basically can't get a rental car anywhere, which has sprung the idea of Turo. And Turo says if I have a car sitting out there, I can put it on the internet. I can charge a daily fee. I can charge, you know, I can set my caps. I think it's like 70-30 or whatever kind of exchange you want to do with Turo for renting the car out. So like you keep 70%, they keep 30%, and then you're responsible for maintaining the car and things like that. But of course, Turo has to be able to make money to keep the site going and bringing you the client, and you have to keep your fleet going. So you might be saying, Jack, well, what if they destroy my car? Well, you need to carry insurance, and Turo also has a plan that will allow for a deductible insurance program that can also further protect your car. So this kind of breaks into, well, Jack, what are the 5 or 6 things I need to know when I go to rent out my car? Well, one, you need to document everything. You need to make sure you document the car pre and post. You need to make sure you're taking at least 10, 20 or 30 shots of dashboards, tires, the whole 9 yards, just like you would when you get a U-Haul car or U-Haul truck or anything from Home Depot. You need to make sure that you know what the vehicle or the item looked like before you loaned it out, and then when you get it back. I also say that you need to have a tracker on your car as always, and this is why like the smart cars have become a really big thing on Turo, is because you can track, you know, where they went, how they were drove, and kind of tell if somebody was really destroying your property. So the second thing I would say is I would make sure that you verify who you're loaning out. There's a lot of different programs on Turo to make sure that you can loan this thing out properly, and that you're not giving it to somebody that has a invalid license or etc. They have a verification system. You need to verify. I strongly suggest that you make them take a picture with their driver's license so you can verify both. And so probably 2 pictures, 3 pictures if you can, the more the merrier. And make sure you know who you're renting the car to. The next one is, I would say you need to make sure your car is well maintained, and this is going to go over into the big part of when I talk about what cars you need to look for, because maintenance is like, just like with houses, if you buy an older house, you're going to have a lot of maintenance costs because it's an older house. Same way with cars, you're going to have a lot of maintenance problems that you didn't foresee because it's an older car. These are all things you got to take into account when you're looking at your return. And remember that this is not just a rental car business, that it is an experience. So if you are trying to get cars, if you're looking at cars, and I'm going to talk about this in the next section, you need to think about that when you're buying the cars. Not just a car that'll rent, a car that'll give an experience. So moving into the next section where we're going to talk about cars, I want to add to the note that you're going to have an insurance issue with this. You need to make sure you're looking at like probably commercial lines of insurance, because you don't want to have an injury or a wreck or something like that and the insurance company not take care of you. Also, you need to think about what kind of entities you're holding these cars in, because you don't want to have personal liability for something that may have happened. These are issues that are probably going to be seen in the Turo program, but if you can figure those out, you can just move forward. It's the same way with rental real estate, where you've got to figure out how you're going to hold your assets just to protect you as the landlord or as the person renting the cars out. So I'm going to go into some of the cars and stuff, and like this is a big topic of debate on Turo. Really, the platform's so young that like I don't think people really know. They're taking a stab at this, but I feel like it's kind of like with the Airbnb world. You got to jump into the game and then you kind of figure out the game, because you know there are mathematical formulas that'll put you in the ball game, but until you're out there and you see it, because every location is going to be different. You know, LA, Montana, Atlanta, Pensacola, Florida are going to be totally different realms of what's going to work, because how saturated is the market and what is the different demographics that are going to be renting the cars. So if I was, you know, looking at like an LA or a Las Vegas, I would be trying to rent cars that have an experience. I'd be thinking about things that are a little above the average person car, like things like the BMWs and the Porsches and the Corvettes. And I would think about like mid SUV size. And if I was closer to the mountains, I might think more of like Wrangler Jeeps and 4Runners and things like that. But just keep in mind that you can go on the site and look down and see what is being rented in your area, and you can kind of get a gist on if they are making that vehicle profitable. So like one of the biggest ones right now is the Teslas. And because Teslas have a lower maintenance problem, like they don't have a lot of maintenance issues because they don't have a running motor, that these things can really work well on the Turo program. The problem is it's getting saturated. So like when a business person comes in and they can't rent a Tesla or something nice from Enterprise, which right now has no vehicles, they'll go and grab a Tesla from somebody in town and drive that as their rental car. And you know, they're usually getting $100 to $150 a day, give or take. I would say $130 to $150 for a Tesla, which is kind of cool. If you look at some of the Corvettes, like they're getting $150 a day, you know, in LA and some of these places like that. But you got to really think like, what is my area going to do well with? I mean, and that's going to be testing the market. Like, that's anything. And so what a lot of people are going to tell you is, yes, the lower end Porsches, the lower end Corvettes, the lower Wranglers, free runners, things like that. You really want to think about, can I get these vehicles well under lot value, like the standard price? You need to get these things like 15 to 18% under value. Like, you got to get a steal on these things. Like, you got to buy just like houses, you got to buy the vehicles at the right price. Like, you know, some people say 2 times, 2.5 times your car payment, but here's my idea. Here, I'm going to spitball numbers for you, okay? So these numbers are not, these are for trying to get the thought of car rental over to you versus real estate, okay? So take these numbers just as demonstration purposes. All right, so you see these numbers right here. Can you see it? Are you focusing? Okay, so you see these numbers. All right, if I was a real estate investor, okay, and I could take $60,000, okay, and I can divide it 3 ways, because in real estate we want doors, as many doors as possible, because we don't want vacancies or things not going out, because you ain't making money when they're not going out. All right, so we take $60,000, we divide it up 3 times. We're like 20, 20, and 20. Okay, now let's look at the return on this bad boy, okay? So let's say we could get that vehicle rented for $100 a day. Trying to get it to focus. Let's say we can get that thing rented for $100 a day. We're spitballing here. And let's say we can get 15 days per on each vehicle in a good market, okay? That's $1,500 per car per month, okay? That's $4,500 a month on a $60,000 investment. You with me on this? Are you with me on this? And this is why I got really interested in it. Okay, let's say, just like in rental real estate, we're going to have a 50% expense ratio, dollar per square foot per year. You can't really get around it. You're going to be at 50%. You're going to get some that are going to do better, some that do other. That's the difference between having old things and new things, okay? Maintenance. All right, so I know I'm talking fast. Let's get with it. So we deduct 50%, because we're going to have to pay Turo and we're going to have maintenance costs, okay? So we're at $22.50 a month times 12, which is $27,000 a year. Are you with me? $27,000 a year on $60,000. What's that rate? What's that return? Was that like 47% or something? 45%, somewhere here or there? Come on with it. Those are wild numbers. We got insurance to protect us, okay? We got maintenance that's going to happen, so we just have us a good mechanic ready to go. And we protect ourselves the best way I can with tracking and photographs. This is a very viable option, everybody. I think this is, I'm sitting here staring at it on the screen, okay? And I think if you've got trucks, you can rent trucks. I think if you've got Teslas, you can rent Teslas. I think if you've got an above standard vehicle, you can rent those. I think the rental car company is going to go the way of the taxi, okay? Like, just how Uber and Lyft killed the taxis, this could kill rental car companies. And you might be saying, well, how do I get the car to them? Well, just give them a lift to your car. Like, just call them an Uber or Lyft to get to the car, or meet them with a car. But let's say you had 10 of these, which you could. Now all of a sudden, you're making a 6-figure business out of renting these cars. Now you might be saying, Jack, can I quit my 9 to 5? I mean, look, here's my thing on quitting 9 to 5s. It's like the same thing with being a full-time real estate agent. I don't think that anything is quit your 9 to 5 to do something. You're just replacing your 9 to 5 with another 9 to 5. To be successful as an entrepreneur, you got to have a lot of things going. You've got 6, 7, 8 different things giving you $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a month. Because when one runs dry, one takes over. And that's the same thing with having more doors in real estate, more cars, and car rentals, is you don't have any vacancy. The tap doesn't run dry every day. So that is my thought on Turo, okay? I think it is an insane asset that you can bring to your portfolio and making money. I think one day you'll be able to rent trailers and all types of rental equipment off this thing, backhoes, which I don't know why they haven't put on there yet. Check it out, cruise through it, see if it's a viable idea to make money, just like Airbnb, and see if you can put it in your portfolio. You know, one more thing, making $1,000 a month, $200 a month, $500 a month. You could fill up your IRA fast like that. You could fill up your bank account or your kids, you know, college fund fast, doing these little bitty things where the money just keeps stacking and churning. You know, you can't, once you make money, you got to put the money back to work. You can't go and blow it. So with the rental real estate, I took that money, I got my profits, and I'm sitting here saying, should I go buy another property? Or is there Turo? Or is there an Airbnb? Or something that will get me a better return? Because I basically doubled my investment in less than 3 years, 3 years-ish in real estate because of this whole economic meltdown. I doubled my money on my rental real estate. Now I'm going to go look and see if there's something else out there that I can put money in. Yes, I'll still buy properties when I find a good return rate and I look at the numbers. This is the exact same thing. So I hope you liked the video. I wanted to put this out here. A lot of people have asked me about it. I think it's really cool. And I hope this helps just one person, because that's all that really matters to me. And I'll see you guys later.